Welcome back. We're here moving right along with our Summit Sunrise Friday edition. And joining me now is Henry Barr in the studio. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Thanks so much for coming. I'm doing fantastic, especially now that we're talking about a property like this. This sounds very intriguing to me on a couple of different notes. That it's in Summit County, but you're not around a whole lot of other stuff like some of the other neighborhoods are.
Right.
And so if you want to find that kind of quintessential mountain home, this is really an ideal kind of property.
Very much so. And that's sort of the uniqueness of it. You're only about 4 or 5 miles out of town limits, and then
Now, when you say out of town, that's
north of Silverthorne.
Okay.
And you'd be going down the lower Blue Valley, and you'd go north of Silverthorne, approximately right across from the campground. And
Okay.
so instead of hanging right to the campground, you'd go left, and you go up about 2 miles up Rock Creek Road, and the trailheads are on the left-hand side, and the subdivision's on the right-hand side. And so you can either go to your trailheads, or you can go to your home.
There you go.
And
depending on where you want to sleep, I guess.
Absolutely, and what comforts you want.
That's right.
And the neat part about the subdivision, it's one of the very few established like this in Summit County. And there's 188 acres within the subdivision limits. But they limited it only to a total of 18 homes. So, and the home sites have a building envelope of about a ½ acre.
Okay.
But everything else is open space all around it.
Wow.
So you have feeling of being completely open and ownership of only a small amount of your individual land that you're responsible for, and the rest is open space. And it gives you a feeling of being wide open out there, but yet you don't have to take care of the 10 or 20 acres that some other situations might. And it's just a real neat little enclave of real pretty homes up in the forest. They've done a tremendous amount of beetle work up there for fire safety, and it's real healthy looking now. You've got some open spaces, of course, because of the clearing, but you've got aspen. Your views are, and some evergreens still left. You've got views, as you can see by these pictures.
Yeah, some awesome views.
And clearing opened up some really great views that people didn't know they had 5 years ago. So it's one of those double-edged swords that's happening out there.
Kind of a silver lining to it all. And it is, I mean, as you mentioned, though, just having the responsibility of a ½ acre, but you still have that 188 acres around you. You're going to feel like you're out in the wilderness, but still very close to town, and you still get all your recreating and that outdoor active lifestyle that people tend to have up here.
Oh, very much. I mean, like I say, you're right next to the trailhead on the left-hand side, and the amount of wildlife up there, it's very common. I've seen moose and bear up there on a fairly regular basis when I go up there, checking on the house and type thing. There's a number of moose up there in the drainage, and there's an occasional bear that comes through, there's no question. And of course, the deer and the elk are thick through there at different times of year and moving through. And the birds and all, you're just very much out in the outdoors.
Yeah.
This is living in Colorado. There's no question.
Right. So remind us again then where the subdivision is. What's the name of it?
The name of the subdivision is Pebble Creek.
Okay.
And it's up Rock Creek Road, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and there are 2 private gates there, and you enter through one of the gates, and it's right as you come into the subdivision, the second home in, so it's about ½ a mile down, and heavily timbered, heavily treed, as you can see the pictures. And it's a great log home. The price has come down tremendously.
That was something I was going to mention about the price. I was looking over the details on this property, and one of the last things I was looking at was the asking price. And while I'm going through this, I'm thinking, because it's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath property, and just under 4,000 square feet, I'm thinking, well, this is probably 1.5, 1.2, and it's not even close to that.
It was around 1.1 about 2.5, 3 years ago. They took it off the market to do some remodeling, and they remodeled the kitchen, they remodeled the master bath, and the house is in great shape. It gets very, it's just been incredibly well kept, and log home feels very much loggy. It is log.
Yep.
And basically, it's down now to $849.
That's incredible.
That's just an incredibly good price. Comes mostly furnished. They have some personal possessions and a couple of pieces of furniture that are dear to them. But for the most part, what you see is what you get. And it's just a move-in type thing for your, like you say, quintessential mountain home, log home in the mountains, not in a quote-unquote, some people might say a suburbia subdivision. And you're 5 minutes from town.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not like it's a trip. It's 5 minutes from town.
Yeah, absolutely. So short drive back out of that property, and if somebody wants to see the photos on this or the listing on it, what's the best way they can
The best way to see the
it?
photos probably is to go to the website.
Okay.
And because we've probably got 20, 30 photos on that, and that's henryebarr.com.
Okay.
It's real easy, henryebarr.com.
There it is, a very easy to navigate website, lots of listings on there.
Easy to work website, not a lot of extraneous stuff. You'll find it, you'll be able to click on all the pictures. And also one of the nice part about a website, and I catch some real flack from some of the industry people about it, but it's a non-capture website. It's a non-sign-in. I don't know if you're in there. I don't know how many times you're looking at it. I don't know how many times you're looking at the picture. And I don't know how many years you've been on my website. Until you want information, I don't have a clue. And then when you want information or you want more details, all you have to do is make a phone call.
There you go.
Or an email. And you can tap in from that website to the county MLS. And you can, access all the active listings currently in Summit County. Again, without a realtor, without me, without one of my assistants, or without anybody in that matter knowing that you're on that website. So you can check out how many homes in this price range or those type of things.
Yeah.
It's all available to you in the privacy of your home or wherever you're using your website.
It's a very excellent point. And the phone number's on the screen there, and along with Henry's email, and that's henryebarr@gmail.com.
Exactly. Make it real easy.
That is really easy. I can remember that. And of course, again, last note is that the market. I mean, still a buyer's market out there.
I feel like I'm repetitive, and I'm sure people are getting tired of hearing it, but you're finally beginning to hear it from the national media too, which isn't always right, but people tend to follow it. This is, and I keep saying strongly, we're probably in the last year of the great triple witching hour, basically. You have still good inventory. You still have great prices. We're at the bottom, if not slightly starting to move up in certain neighborhoods. Not across the board, but there are certain ones that are starting to tweak up a little bit. And interest rates are still at absolute record 50-year lows. You will not be able to find those in the future. I just can't tell you. And I don't know if that future is 6 months, or a year, but shortly you will not be able to find it. It's just, there won't be a better time. You'll look back in 3 to 5 years and go, what was I thinking?
Right. You know it. Well, you heard it here from the man, Henry Barr. Thanks so much for coming in here.
Thank you very much.
And
Appreciate it.
we're going to take another quick break here and be back with more Summit Sunrise, so don't go too far.
Great.